welcome to my channel. I'm Anna. I run an Etsy shop where I sell stationery, including stickers aimed at planners and journals and various other art related items. If you're a stationery addict like me, don't forget to subscribe and welcome to my channel. Hello everybody, welcome back. I thought today I would just do a fun little video about my favourite crafting things. I like watching these, so I thought I'd make my own version, and it gives me an opportunity to get out all my favourite stationery, art supplies and talk to you about them. So I've got everything laid out around my desk, so I thought I would start at this side and just kind of work my way around in no particular order. To start with, I have got some embossing stuff over here. These are my powders. I have a anti-static bag. I got this off Amazon. I can't remember the brand, it was just the cheapest one I could find. If you've never seen one of these before, you basically rub this over your work before you apply your adhesive and then your embossing powder, and it prevents anything else from sticking to your work other than the embossing powder. Just keeps it a lot neater basically. And then I also have these glue pens, and these are what I have found to be the best way to add embossing powder in the way that I like to use them. I don't emboss large spaces, so I don't have any stamps or embossing folders or anything like that. I only use these to add small details to greetings cards that I've made myself, printed out, and then I use these to add small little details. And for that I use these tiny glue pens, which I found to be brilliant, and I've used these for ages because I used to sell prints that had glittery hand lettering on, and I would draw with these over the hand lettering and then add the glitter on. It took forever, but yeah, these are brilliant. I do prefer the Cricut pens. I think they're slightly more expensive, but they're very blue, so it's a lot easier to see where you've been. But they do dry clear, so you don't see the blue after. I think these Sailor 2-in-1 pens I got in the range. They're still not very expensive, but I just prefer these. They're a lot thinner to hold as well. These ones are quite chunky, but both good. Both do the same thing. Both have a blue tint, dry clear, and they do stay tacky for quite a while, long enough for you to put your embossing powder on. I did buy a couple of these Ranger embossing pens. I thought I would give these a go, but to be completely honest, they're a bit naff. They're very dry when you originally put them down, so it's kind of impossible to get anything to stick to them. So yeah, I just stick to the glue pens. I wouldn't bother with these. The embossing powders that I use are the Wow embossing powders, and these are the only embossing powders actually that I've ever used, and I can't see why I would ever need to try any others because these are great. My favourite is the Clear Sparkle. This is the one that I use on all my greetings cards. I'm waiting for an opportunity to try this one because it's just so sparkly. It's called Mida's Touch. Yeah, I need to find an opportunity to use that. I apologise for the planes. I did close the windows, but it's too hot in here. And I live right next to an RAF base, so it's an awful, unfortunately. But yeah, I have gold, I think that's black. I have a white one, silver. This is another shimmer. I didn't like this one as much as the clear one because it has, I can't remember why. I think it's because the colour, just the sparkles aren't as sparkly. And this is called Neutral Ultra Shimmer. Yeah, out of the two, I definitely prefer the Clear Sparkle. I do have a metallic gold sparkle, which is very nice. And then for my embossing, I have the Ranger heat tool, and I originally bought this for painting. I didn't buy these for embossing. I bought it to dry watercolour paintings as I was working, so that I could dry a layer, carry on, and dry another layer, carry on. Which it is good for because it's got such a wide nozzle, and it's just nice and small and compact. And I use it for all sorts of things, drying paint, if you spray shimmer on something, dry it, dry glue, but it also works close up as a normal heat tool and melts the embossing powder perfectly, which was a nice surprise because I didn't think it could because it's just so tiny. Yeah, that's really good. I would definitely recommend that if you want a multi-purpose heat tool and you're not just doing tiny amounts of embossing all the time. Okay, moving on from embossing powder. Over here I've got some pens. First I've got jelly roll pens, and anyone that does any kind of crafting or drawing will have used these, so I imagine I don't even need to point them out. But these are the best gel pens you can find. The black is super black, the white is super white. You can draw over most things, watercolour, I mean obviously not something like acrylic, but you can draw over things, add small details. I actually really like the black one to draw in my planner. I just find it a lot easier than drawing with something like a micron. But yeah, super white, super black, can't beat them. The other pens I have here are these sparkly pens, and I believe these are the Spectrum sparkly pens. Yeah, Spectrum Noir Sparkle. Yeah, these are actually empty because I've used them all, and I've actually poured out the ink sometimes and poured it into something else. I've added colours to them, but yeah, it's a very delicate sparkle, and they're very nice. And you get so much ink in them as well. It takes forever to run out if you're just adding it to tiny amounts. I have actually poured the ink out of these and added it to my spray bottle, and that works well as well. Another couple of pens here. These are more for hand lettering. I have the Pentel art brush, which is the same one here. You get this refill with it, which is very handy, and I've had this for ages and it's still not run out. It's supposed to be kind of like brushy. It's not supposed to be like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not meant to be solid. It's supposed to have like a textured effect. I believe it is anyway, and I like that about it. This one is meant to be very smooth. This is another Pentel one. I can't remember what this one's called though, but I will put all the links below. And I believe you can refill this one. You don't have to keep buying it. Yeah, you just buy new ink, which is always nice. Not having to buy a whole new pen, but this one you see is very smooth. Very nice, has a very flexible large brush nib. This one is bigger and gives you a much more textured look. I wouldn't say this is for creating delicate hand lettering. The other pens I have here are something that I bought recently, and I bought these to try out as highlighters. These are the Sharpie S-Note Creative markers. They're not permanent markers, they're just normal like highlighter felt tip pens. And they came in quite a big pack. I can't remember how many was in there, maybe 20. And they weren't very expensive. I did write it down. Where did I write it down? Here it is. I did make notes. Yeah, these were about £10, and I believe I got 20. Loads of different colours, and not just like boring colours that you normally get in highlighters. I wanted something different, and I wanted something with a much smaller nib so that I can highlight small things. And I really like these, and I just had a look earlier to find out what the price is, and they've brought out a bigger pack that's all pastel colours, and they're double-ended, so you have a brush tip on one end and then a chiselled end on the other for highlighting. So I imagine those would be really good for journaling, but I use these to mark up orders, and I've now covered them in ink. Another thing I have over here, which was part of my embossing set, I used to use this all the time. I still do use it occasionally, but I just don't have a lot of time for crafting anymore. This is the Pebeo Relief Paste, I believe it's called. But I've had this for years and it's still not run out because you only need a small amount. But it almost looks like glue, and it kind of dries like glue, but it's not glue. It dries raised. It does start with a tacky finish, and then it goes clear and kind of rubbery, almost like PVA, but more so. And then you get your gold foil, apply that over the top, rub it, and then it leaves the gold foil behind. And I've used this out the tube. I've applied it with a brush. I've applied it with like a dotting tool. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, you can use it for so many things and just add tiny bits of gold to whatever it is that you want. Next up, I have a strange product that I've not really seen many people talk about, and this is brushos. And I was introduced to these at a crafting workshop that I went to. A lady in my village used to run a card making class in the evenings. She doesn't do it anymore because they recently lost the building, but yeah, it was good fun and I learnt about some new products, and this was one of the main ones that I really liked. And these are basically tiny tubs filled with a very, very strong pigmented paint powder, but they're not solid colours. They are a mix of colours so that you can create patterns really easily in different backgrounds and textures. And when they come in these pots, and the lady that recommended them to me suggested that I not open them, which I didn't, because they spill and they stain and they're very, very strong. She said poke holes in the top so that you can shake them on, which is what I did. It's very helpful, and these still feel like they're full, and I've had these for about 4 years now. I believe they are about £20, which sounds a lot for tiny tubs, but I doubt you'd need to replace these any sooner than in 10 years unless you were using them a lot. I will just show you what they're like. Let me just grab some spare paper and then choose a colour to show you. I want one that's got a mix of colours in it. Ah, this one's nice. This is like a blue and purple. What's this called? Ultramarine. I haven't used these for a while. I hope they're not. But yeah, it's a very, very fine powder, and I've poked 5 holes in these, almost like a salt and pepper shaker. And then I have my Ranger Distress Sprayer, which is very good, a very fine mist. And then you just spray it. And then you get all the different colours coming out. I believe you can also wet the paper first and then put it on. In the card workshop, we had a mixture of the brushos. We put the brushes on, and then she also had us sprinkling embossing powder over the top and then drying it. So we ended up with these like really cool splattery watercolour patterns, and then they also had tiny amounts of like sparkly gold glitter and stuff inside. It was really good fun. But yeah, I definitely recommend those for fun crafting. I imagine these would be good for card making. I have scanned these textures in before and used them on things like wedding invites as well. But yeah, that leads me on to another product I would recommend, which is this spray bottle. The Ranger Distress Sprayer. It just has a really nice fine mist, and I don't always have water in this. I normally have sparkle ink, same sparkle ink that comes in these Spectrum Noirs. You can buy it in bottles. I think it's the same one. And I have it in this, and I fill it up, and then I have sparkly ink to spray over everything. I also have the smaller version, which is the Ranger Mister, and in this one I have some watered down gold ink at the moment, which you can't see on first impression, but when it dries it leaves behind very, very tiny specks of gold. It is the Winsor & Newton gold ink that I have in there, which is my favourite, and I've mixed it up. It makes a very nice background for things. Yeah, definitely recommend those 2 spray bottles. I imagine you could get other ones, but I just like the fact that they're made for crafting. Another sparkly item I have is the Crafter's Companion Spray and Sparkle Iridescent Glitter Varnish Spray. Now, I tried a couple of these because I wanted a spray that I could add to stickers that wouldn't ruin the ink, because I had tried this with the sparkle ink in it, but when you spray something that's water based obviously onto printer ink, it's gonna run. And I tried it multiple different ways. I tried spraying the paper first, but then that kind of makes it wrinkly and it wasn't working. So I tried this, and this works really well. I think I have an example of a Christmas sticker. Yeah, this works really well and doesn't have any effect on the printing. I don't know if you can see it there. It's quite hard to get it to show up in daylight. But there is glitter on there, and it does leave a rough texture on top, but it doesn't rub off. Ooh, it doesn't rub. You don't end up with glitter all over you. It's a nice sparkle, lots of different colours, and it's very fine as well, rather than a chunky glitter. I'm actually going to be trying this out this year on my Christmas stickers, like my sheets. We'll see how that goes. But it does work nice. I've sprayed this on all sorts of things, even envelopes. I believe it's for outside use too, possibly, but it is very hard wearing, so I can't see why you couldn't use it outside because it is a varnish. But yeah, that one's good. Kind of more sparkly things, but more glue is Mod Podge. I absolutely love Mod Podge. Most of these are empty. Apart from the outdoor one, because I just haven't had a reason to use it, and I can't see how it's better, any different to this one, because I've used this one on stuff that goes outside. It's been absolutely fine. I've actually used this on interior walls. I made a glitter glue from this. I just mixed a whole pack of gold glitter that I bought off eBay, mixed it in with this glue, and then I made glittery stars on my daughter's walls, and they are solid. If this house ever crumbles, all that will remain will be those solid sparkly gold stars on her walls. I'm dreading the day that I have to try and get them off, but yeah, this stuff is solid. The matte one isn't as matte as I thought it would be, which was quite disappointing, but it works the same as Mod Podge. The paper one, again, I haven't seen much difference. The only one I really liked out of this set that was actually any different to just buying normal Mod Podge was the sparkly one, obviously. And you can see on the top there how sparkly it is. My daughter had to decorate a stone for, I can't remember what it's called, a rock garden that they did for the Queen's Jubilee. And we covered it in this to make sure that it would last outside, and it was so glittery, and you could see it from a mile away on the rock garden, which was really cool. Yeah, Mod Podge, lots of fun. Bit more boring, and that's, I have, I'll just put that out of the way. I have some knives. This one I've had for a while. This is an X-Cut blade. I got this in the range. I don't believe it was very expensive. I'm a bit stingy when it comes to stuff that's boring. But yeah, it functions as a knife. It does what it's supposed to do. The only thing I don't like is the snapping off of the blades. I really don't like doing it. I'm convinced that it's just going to like ping me in the eye or something. There's also no safety catch, so if my kids come in the office, they can quite easily push that up. But it's fine. It works well. But the one I really like is this one, and I couldn't believe how cheap it was. It came with, I think, 5 spare blades in this nice little tub, and I think it was £5 off Amazon, and that was with Prime free delivery. And it is so sharp, like that has just gone straight through that piece of craft card, and I barely touched it. And it has a nice lid too. Yeah, a blue spot craft knife, and it's, yeah, I think it's even cheaper at the minute. I had a look earlier to check they were still selling it, and I think it's about £4 at the moment. And that's a really good craft knife. I was looking at the one that comes with the Cricut, but that's like £20 for a craft knife. And I imagine this one does exactly the same thing. That's really good, that one. Another thing I picked up in the range when I bought that knife was this ruler. and you'd never think that a ruler would be super exciting, but this has a grid on it, and it's a big fat ruler, and each square is 5mm or half a centimetre, and then it has these central lines, and I can't believe how much I actually use it for measuring things, and these squares are just so helpful. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember how much it was, but it was from the range. I can't imagine it was a lot, because I wouldn't have spent a lot on a ruler. Another boring item is double-sided tape, and I use this a lot to make bag toppers for packaging, and this is my second roll of this particular one that I got from Amazon, and I've tried maybe 20 different versions of double-sided tape on Amazon, and so far this has been the best one, and I keep buying it. And I did write it down. It's about £3.50 on Amazon. It does change like Amazon does. It's 9mm thick, and it normally comes in a big roll because it has 50 meters on the roll for £3.50, and it is so sticky. My children stuck drawings to my wall, and yeah, it took the paint off, and which is rubbish, but for sticking packaging on things and making sure that it's not going to move, it's really good. Something else I have over here, and that's watercolours. I believe, yeah, these are Japanese watercolours called Kuritake, and these are so good. I never thought I would find watercolours that would replace my existing Winsor & Newton, or my Winsor & Newton Old Faithful watercolour palette that I've had for ages, because I love this thing, but these colours are just so different. They're so bright. You get colours in it that you would never get in a Winsor & Newton palette, and light colours that are just such a pain to mix, and it's just nice to have them already done. I mean, I know mine are a complete mess at the moment. They are a lot brighter when they're new, but these are very nice, very vibrant watercolours, big chunky palettes as well, so they last a while. And I believe I also have the metallic version of these that has gold, silver, iridescent, white, things like that. And I don't think it was that expensive, but I will double check. What else do I have over here? I have my Winsor & Newton alcohol pens. And these were actually a gift to myself, I believe, on one birthday, because I'd wanted some for ages. I was torn between trying these or the Copic markers, because I see everyone trying out the Copic markers and loving those, but I love the Winsor & Newton paints and brushes so much I thought I would stick to that brand. So I can't really comment on whether I think they're better than Copic markers, but they work well to me. Just nice markers. I don't know if I've got any paper here I can show you. This paper is quite good because it's got a nice texture to this paper. Yeah, they're very smooth alcohol pens, and I have a couple of sets in here, but I do like this carry case. I like it when things come with their own storage and I don't have to figure it out myself. Yeah, those are good. What's next? Next I have this Fiskars guillotine. Is it guillotine or paper trimmer? I always forget which one's which. I believe the guillotine has the knife and then the paper trimmer has the disc, the pull down. But this is the smaller of the two. I'm pretty sure they do a big A4 version. But this is just a really good paper trimmer. It's light, so I can take it in and out of the house if I want to, if I'm packing orders in there. It's sharp, it's precise. I don't have anything bad to say about it. My only regret is I didn't buy the bigger version. The last product I have is a big one, and that is my cinch. This is by We Are Memory Keepers, and this is how I make my notepads. yeah, and basically down here it cuts the holes, and then at the back here it cinches the wire binding. And I use the We Are Memory Keepers binding, and I have also used the Zutter Binder All binding, and they're exactly the same. I think the cinch wires may be slightly better quality, but that's me being really fussy. And I'm pretty sure the cinch wires are more expensive. They don't come in as bigger packs, so they do work out a bit more. But yeah, I think this, when I bought it, it was about £100, and it's definitely been worth the money. It just does everything all in one. On the side here it has little notches where you can attach the wires so that you can load up all your paper. If you've seen any of my shorts on Instagram reels, you will have seen me make a notepad that way. I've just noticed my voice is cracking. I have had a cold lately, that might be why. But yeah, that is another product that I really like, and I'm glad that I spent the money on. The only other product that I would say I like more than this would be my iPad, but I'm not sure that that's really a crafting item for most people. That's just how I tend to draw now, and unfortunately I don't have a lot of time to draw traditionally. And that's it. The only other thing I wanted to mention was that at the minute I have taken a little bit of a break from making stickers, or making new stickers rather. I am designing stickers, they're just stickers for later on in the year, things like autumn, Christmas, that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm trying to get ahead of the game a bit, because my son actually starts school in September, and both my children will then be at school, so I will be starting work from September, so I'll be working during the week, and I'll also be running this business on the side and at the weekends. I am going to try and do both and see how that goes. That's why I'm trying to get kind of end of the year products done now, so that I can maintain that, because I'm not going to have any time once I start working as well. Yeah, I am hoping that I can carry on the shop and working during the week at the same time. If not, and things get too much, I may have to switch the shop from selling both physical and digital items to just digital, so that I don't have the pressure of dispatching orders. But I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case, and I'm trying to find something that's just during the week, so that I have weekends free to process and dispatch all your orders. But that was all I wanted to mention, just to give you a heads up, in case you were wondering why I haven't released any new stickers lately. But I have just released some new stickers for teachers, ready for the end of this year. I can't believe that it's going to be the summer holidays already anyway, but yeah, last year one of my friends mentioned to me that I should do teacher gifts and stuff for teachers, and I never even thought about it, so I've done those. They're on the shop now, and yeah, hopefully I'll get back to making some stickers very soon. I do have a couple of packs that I would like to get out before we go into, like I said, end of year stuff, and it seems to be all about Christmas from October onwards, which is coming soon, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but it just seems to come around quicker every year, and I don't feel like I'm ever prepared for it. But yeah, anyway, I hope you're having a good day. It's really hot here, and I desperately need to open my door because I'm absolutely boiling. So I hope you enjoyed this fun little video, and if there's anything else you'd like to see or know, or if there's a product here that you'd like me to show you a bit more in depth, or if there's anything about making stickers that you'd like to know, leave a comment down below. So yeah, bye!